Great.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first session in November for our complimentary online education events. First thing I have to do is thank our underwriters for this series. That's the Wet Show and Concrete Sealants. I will put their web address into the web link pod. You'll see that in the bottom left hand of the screen. We couldn't do these without assistance from the good folks at Wet and Concrete Sealants. So let me just move this out of the way here. We do have our disclaimer just for our legal purposes. So I'll read this, and also you can, if you are have hearing disability, you can read it on the screen as well, that we are a public outreach and a consulting organization. I'm not going to read it word for word, but we are a national, international education service provider. And the most important thing here is that we do not host these events as paid advertising or as endorsement for any particular vendor or product, but we do provide these for the purpose of making information more widely available. We also post this to our YouTube account, where if you do have issues and English is not your primary language, you can translate. There will also be closed captioning on there. So do check out our YouTube channel. You can access that from our main website. If you want to know more about us, again, our website would have been included in the invitation. And let me put this away here. Feel free to browse our website. So today we're going to be looking at an issue that I think in the coming century, the rest of this century and well into the next one, is going to be a real concern, and that is the availability of water. Worldwide, and you will see in the web links there, is the CDC website for the WASH program. Make that just a little bigger there. Worldwide, it's estimated that 780 million people do not have access to an improved water source. An estimated 2.5 billion people lack access to improved sanitation. That constitutes about 35% of the world's population. That is a stunning figure, and that is today. I saw a recent posting actually on LinkedIn from someone who in his 40 years of life, the world population had actually doubled during that time span. And as we know, we cannot live without water. So at this point, I would like to introduce our speaker for the day, Luke Jackson, who's going to be talking about the Graytec system and the blue circle model. You'll see in the bottom of the screen there a little animation, which when we get going, we will play for you. But basically, I'm going to let Luke explain it for himself and introduce himself. Take it away, Luke.
And I appreciate that. Thanks to everybody who's attending and also anybody who will be in this post-recording. So thank you again. And my name is Luke Jackson. I am the president of Graytec USA. I'm also the advisor to the board for Graytec AB. So we have everything 2016. It was in Gothenburg, Sweden, and I'll get more into my partners here in a second. But first, I'd also like to introduce Graytec USA, a member of the same family of companies, of course, which is based out here in the United States, in the state of Arizona, and the city of Scottsdale. It's very fitting, I think, that it's based here in a desert, which is what this area is. It's part of the Sonora Desert that extends all the way down to Mexico. Graytec AB, as I said, and Graytec USA was founded last year in 2019. Right now we have 5 members. We are very, very proud that we will soon be adding a 6th to our team. Four of our members are in Sweden. That includes Per Eriksson, who is the founder and inventor of our system. That includes our Chief Technology Officer, Jesper Knudsen, who is a professor of architecture and civil engineering at Chalmers University of Technology in Gothenburg. It also includes Christina and Patrick Cardini, who function as advisors to the board as well. I am, as of right now, still the lone American over here at Graytec USA, functioning as its president, still advising out for Sweden. And soon we'll be adding a second American to the team, whom is based out in Dallas, Texas. So we're excited that we're growing. We started with just a couple of people, and now we're getting a little bigger every year. So we hope to continue that growth as time goes on. The problem, as you can see at this picture here, is worldwide, as Dendra stated very well. It's increasing. The world, much of it is seeing less water, and you have parts of the world where the water they have is it's unhealthy. It can hurt you more than help you, even just by bathing in it, getting it into your eyes or your mouth. So places you have places in the Middle East which are losing are draining their water supplies. You have places such as South Asia where they're not only losing water, but they're also experiencing water quality issues. So this is something that's near and dear to us as something we want to fix. So I don't want to spend all day on the problem, because I know there are a lot of people out there, a lot of companies that would rather talk about the problem than going into the solution. But then again, there's some amazing companies that we've come across, and some organizations that are all about solutions, and we're just proud to be amongst them. We're just this organization included with wastewatereducation.org. So we'll get to do about this. So here you're going to see our home. This is the HSB Living Lab at Chalmers University of Technology. It's a very innovative lab. It is a place where new technologies, particularly relating to sustainability, are tested. It's 29 units. It is in a place where graduate students, undergraduate students, and professors even will go and actually live, and just as they would live anywhere else, and test out this new technology. This is the location of our prototype, the Blue Circle system. I'll get more into how it works here in a moment, but this is where we've been testing it out, and to put it short, we've been purifying gray water from showers, bathtubs, and bathroom sinks to potable quality on site through our system. So very, very happy about that, and look forward to getting into details with you here. So this is the inventor of our system, a picture taken right after he spent a very long time. He spent a few days in a row to make sure everything was done in a timely fashion and well. So he looks a bit tired, but I think it shows the amount of work that he's put in. I'm very proud of him for that. So again, we're delighted that the work we put in is starting to pay dividends. So you'll see here there's a small blurb in the center. I'll go ahead and use my pointer here. It talks about potable quality that exceeds U.S. and Swedish standards. We'll get more on that in a second. I'd also like to point out really quick that our solution saves energy. So there's also we're not only adapting to the effects of climate change by conserving water, which is up to 60% of the water used at a home, but we're also conserving up to 80% of the energy that is used to heat that gray water. So there is an energy component to this as well. So with that, this is just an overview of the Swedish Environmental Code. We have not only meet, but satisfy. And this is the prototype results we've gotten. So here at the top, as you see, all represent a maximum allowed number of pollutants that goes into that are allowed into Swedish drinking water. The green bars here, most of which you don't see because they're not picking up any other than trace amounts, shows the amount of pollutants towards that maximum. So we're not even hitting 40% right now, considering what's allowed in Swedish drinking water. So it's really been it's been very encouraging. So we've gotten there at the HSB Living Lab. To go more into our solution itself, our solution is a circular closed-loop gray water recycling system that intakes waters from bathroom sinks, showers, and tubs. It intakes that water through a separate system of pipes, as you will see here on the right. and then it cleans it through our actual what we call the blue circle system to potable quality, and then it recirculates that water directly back into the same shower and sink for direct reuse. We are completely separate from the toilets, so there is nothing to do with the brown water system. That's totally separate from us. It is strictly showers, sinks, and bathroom tubs that we collect our water from. We like to call that light gray water. It's much easier to cleanse than obviously more polluted gray water that you'll find in a kitchen sink or obviously in a toilet. So our solution right now is taking that water again, cleanse it to potable quality, and just recirculating it. So our solution and our bit of pitching into the global water crisis is at the building level. I like to let people know that. This is a system that works great at scale. One unit can service hundreds of multifamily units within an apartment complex. And to note also, anyone living in a more linear system, like on an island, it works there as well because we use pumps to ensure that the water is flowing. So, moving on, some pictures. Now here on the left is the back picture. You'll see the control unit here. You'll see storage tanks. And here is a picture up from the front. There's the HSB Living Lab logo. Again, the control unit. You'll see where the water is flowing in. You'll see where it flows back up. This is the filtration unit. What we use as a filter is it's a membrane ultrafilter. And this is something that is highly efficient in essentially filtering out viruses, E. coli, ensuring turbidity is at acceptable levels. Again, so far we're very happy with what we've seen. And as you'll note, this is not a big space that we're using. This is a smaller space that we're taking up to service a building of 29 units. When you look at us in terms of size, really what you're looking at is 1 square foot is needed total for our system for every home that we are servicing within a multi-unit complex. So if you have a 500-unit complex, you would need about 500 square feet in either a utility room at the basement or possibly a utility room off to the side of the complex or even on the roof for us to be able to install our system. So we don't take a lot of room. It's a very simple, low-maintenance type of system, which we think is a great strength, of course. Going into cost, some people might ask, well, what's the cost of this work? And again, this is a picture of obviously not perfect to scale, but we just want to be able to show that 1 unit here to the left could service multiple living units, as you'll see here. But to go into cost, it depends on whether or not it's a retrofitted facility or a new build. If it is a new build, it'll be much cheaper because we don't have to go through walls, tear anything out, or make any new connections, or alter any existing connections, we can just build it right into the system. And what's great about our system is that it is something you don't always have to use if you don't want to. For example, if the power goes out, because there's some places in the world where power is not always reliable, it automatically defers out to the existing system. So you would just immediately go back to the traditional waste gray water system, flushing it out as wastewater, as it always is, if there's ever a power outage. So that's really something to point out to people, is that once you have our system, if for whatever reason, you're not only having to use our system, it's just an excellent value-added proposition to any piece of real estate. So going into maintenance, we've got a lot of questions about maintenance in the past about our system, and I'm going to talk about this, show a little kind of demonstration of what it looks like when the system's activated. So when you're going into maintenance, really what we're looking at to truly install, we're going to have our own people for any new builds. The first of any country that we go into, every quarter, that the ultrafilters are good to go, pump systems are working perfectly. We do build a lot of sensors into our system, so we are constantly getting feedback through the very simple software system that we have about the quality of the water. And again, there is a fail-safe, so if for whatever reason qualities of water ever dipped to a pre-programmed level, then automatically you're going back to the old system if that were to ever happen. What we're seeing is something to where it would be twice yearly, just like you have someone come in to fix the air conditioning, kind of fix the heater, or any kind of structure, any kind of a machine that's in a structure. We will have first our own people to do that twice yearly once we've gotten to the comfort level that we know we only need to be there twice yearly. And eventually we'll train Graytec technicians, very similar to the Maytag company in the United States. This is having people called Maytag men that will be certified technicians. So one thing here I'd like to speak about for a moment is in Sweden. There is a project called the YEAH project, Y-E-A-H in English, or YEAH, pronounced here in the States. But what it is, it's a partnership between Graytec AB and the largest developer of real estate in the county of Jönköping in Sweden, which is called Väderhem. Also the placemaking firm Yellen, which is the most respected placemaking brand in the nation of Sweden. And then also it's a partnership between other clean technology companies like ourselves that have decided to create some of the world's first completely off-grid, full-service buildings. So what we mean by that is this project will have two buildings. One will have standard, for purposes of control, a standard on-grid, nothing special, good new real estate, but nothing different than you're used to living in type of building. The building on the left is the YEAH project. So this will be completely off-grid. This will feature hydrogen cells. We don't have anything to do with that. They're partner companies with some really great innovative technology. It features solar panels, and our technology, by the way, is compatible with solar and wind technology. We don't require a lot of power, thankfully, for our system. So that's definitely something to know. But what this is going to be is a new build where people will come in and buy and rent places to live just like normal, but we will collect the information through our sensors for levels of efficiency. What we're trying to do in Sweden right now is show how far we can take autonomous buildings and efficiency. So this is not just going to be something that's friendly towards sustainability and anti-climate change. This will all be something over time that's going to become cheaper and cheaper and really show the way for real estate moving forward into the future. And of course there's me. I'll just kind of close out with what we're doing moving forward and the obstacles that we're facing now. So I could say, considering obstacles, lack of market education is the biggest, just because anytime you've got a new technology, it doesn't matter if it's the greatest technology of all time or if it's the worst, whether or not, no matter where on that scale you're going to fit, new technology always requires market education. And the more innovative and the more maybe revolutionary would be the right word to describe it, then the more market education needed. It's something that we have to talk to people about in good depth to really make sure that the message gets out there as far as how our technology really works. Because some people, it takes time to chat and say, well, no, it's not connected to the toilet. With other folks, they immediately grasp it, such as Didra did here. And so really, it's an education campaign on our end. And of course, we're a team of 5, about to be 6, so we don't have a huge marketing department, so to speak, to do that. But so far, our chats with real estate developers, all the way in India, Bangladesh, and all these other countries they've been very open-minded about it. So we are making progress. I'd say the existing paradigm, kind of jumping off, is the second thing that makes what we're doing a little more difficult. It's a sense to where, everyone's used to everything being a certain way. When the first person came out and said, hey, we have an invention called the automobile, people that rode horses probably thought that was pretty silly. So we're kind of doing something along that same vein where we're saying, well, no, you actually like gray water. We created a system that acts as your own little municipal system, on site, and it's very easy, and it integrates easy. And I think a lot of people, they're starting to understand that we talk to, but again, it goes back to education. Then the first up fear, that would be number 3. What I mean by first up fears is a lot of people don't want to be the first to do something new because of the risk or perceived risk. And of course, if that thing works, everybody wants to go second. So really finding that first mover in different markets is going to be difficult, just because everyone is used to things being a certain way. But then again, the certain way that we've done everything is why we are in a water crisis throughout the world. So something has to change. And of course, capital. We're a startup company. I mean, we're 4 years old, a little over 4 years old in Sweden, about 1.5 years old here in the States. So you never. I don't think any company ever has as much money as they're looking for. So we don't. We look at that as more of a challenge than an obstacle. And then, other than that, we're really looking at, moving into not just foreign markets with our Blue Circle system, our full system, but also into the developed world with conventional systems that meet NSF 350 specifications. We're actually very close to finishing those as of now. They're very affordable systems. They integrate very easily. So we're looking forward to, speaking with different target verticals here in the States, such as schools, whether it be colleges or high schools, hospitals, anywhere that produces gray water in bathrooms and has something that they needed water or toilets to flush. So those we're almost done with. We're very excited about. With all of that said, if there's any questions, my email, obviously, all my contact information is right there. We always love to get new people to email us. We love chatting about our system. It's just really something that we're proud of, and we're looking forward to getting our first full system into the market next year, as well as conventional systems. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. If not, obviously, you're always welcome to reach out. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. There was a question that came in via text. Could you go back to the slide that shows the front and the back view of the demonstration site?
Let me just. Here we go.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
How many gallons? The person wanted to know how many gallons are in those the 3 storage units they see there.
Yeah, so those, because that's for the smaller, relatively smaller complex there. Those are 50-gallon tanks. It's kind of tough to see, I know, because you have a top view there and then a side view to the one here to the right. But what we could take, it's the only thing that we need to change size-wise, depending on how big of a place that we are servicing, is the size of the tanks. So that's really what needs to increase more than anything as we start to scale up into larger complexes, or just have bigger tanks. We could save water for, let's say, for example, mornings will obviously be rushes where we're not going to have very full tanks. And then over the day, because, people come home, maybe wash their hands a little bit here and there, or take maybe a quick shower, they'll start filling up, and they'll start getting used more again as people arrive home again. So we do realize that, and we don't save water more than half a day at a time, just because you don't want water to obviously water could set for so many hours, but it can it's not something we're looking at saving around for too long. But luckily, because of the habits that people have for coming in the mornings and using a lot of water, and then at night, that's never going to be an issue.
And the follow-up question for that is, Sweden is not a tropical country. How does this compare if you were going to install this kind of system in a warmer climate?
Sure. So the installation would remain the same. The benefits, admittedly, would be less in the energy side in a tropical country where you don't really need to heat water as much. It's just the temperature is naturally warmer. So in a place like Sweden or Finland or Canada, you're going to, because we've got water that's already warm, you're going to enjoy a little more of the energy benefits. But at the same time, really the main benefit of what we have is just the conservation of up to 60% of the water within a home. So to answer the question directly, I would say the energy benefit is less enjoyed, but the water benefit stays exactly the same in a tropical environment.
Okay, the follow-up question is then, are the storage tanks need to be refrigerated?
No.
Do they need to be kept at a colder temperature?
They do not, because we don't store water for long periods at all. Mainly because when again people come home after the day, a few hours, and they use it up. So no, we haven't had to refrigerate it.
Okay. The next question is, you had mentioned let me read this properly. Okay, the demonstration that's shown is for a high-rise building. How applicable is this to a small community on a linear basis?
It is applicable to communities on a linear basis. So it is true that we're maximized at scale. You're going to, a 500 unit complex is going to enjoy more savings and energy and water versus if it was just one house. We do work on a linear basis for islands. The way it works is we have a pump that can pump water through, so we're not as heavily reliant on just pure gravity model for what we have. So yes, if you have a series of homes that are next to each other, maybe they're 2-story, maybe just 1-story, but they're all within kind of the same system, we can service those.
Hey, this question concerns the filter unit that's shown there on the right side of the screen. What's in? They wanted to know what was in that black tank.
Sure.
There.
So we use an aqua membrane filter. It's a ceramic filter, ultra filter is what it's classified as, where water enters and essentially, as the name of it sounds out, viruses, E. coli, everything that goes into water that you don't want gets filtered out, and obviously that small bit will get flushed as waste that can't be cleansed. And yeah, but it's not anything proprietary as far as the actual filter that we use. And with the results that we've seen, I mean, we could have gone with stronger filters, but at that point, you're actually taking nutrients out of water, which is something we don't want to do. If anything, we want to keep the nutrients into water. So yeah, it is a ceramic ultra filter located within that filtration unit.
This question asks, could you go back to the slide that shows the Swedish drinking water standards?
Is this the slide or other? Okay, this is
yes, yes, yes.
So the wording is a little small, so I apologize.
Yeah, and remind everyone that if you're watching the original recording on Adobe, you can make this particular image full screen. The question is, what about contaminants of emerging concern? Because most of these seem to be, just general testing parameters for regular drinking water. But what about pharmaceutical products, or the current issue in many places is the PFAS, PFOAs?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit there, Dendra. I apologize. Could you repeat that?
Okay. Yeah, the question was that these parameters are mostly conventional drinking water tests. What about contaminants of emerging concern and additional items like PFAS and PFOAs?
Yeah. We have tested general gray water coming out of showers and tubs and sinks. So for those particulars, I'm not there at the unit. I'm located here in the States. So what I've done is I've written those down to see what I mean, they would have told me if anything has, we haven't been able to clean out anything for having trouble with it, but I can specifically ask what the if any of that is getting through our filters right now. So it was PFAS, and what was the other? What were the two?
Was the PFAS, PFOA, PFOA
Okay.
group.
Okay.
They're
Got it.
known as the forever chemicals, but the other one was the emerging concern, things like the additives in personal care products.
Right. Yeah, those have been fine. We've had different care products that we've tested within the unit, shampoos and different things that you would use in a shower. None of that's gotten through as contaminant showing through. So those are fine. The first thing that you'd ask for, though, I will specifically get information on, although I feel confident just because I haven't been told about it. And they always tend to tell me whenever something's wrong. So I will get that question as soon as I can. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question here from Salman. Salman, I apologize for not noticing this. How often does the ultrafilter need to be backwashed? It was more often than we wanted at the beginning. It was, when we first started testing everything a long time ago, it was on more than once a week. And at this point, it's at the point where we won't have to go and if you're asking within the context of replacing the ultrafilter, 3 months is as soon as that we'd have to be able to actually replace it instead of just keep backwashing it. I will get you the most up-to-date numbers because I don't want to give you the wrong answer and then have something better I could have told you. So what I will do is I will email you. Dindra will have your information, what the currency rate is on the UF backwashing. So I will get that to you here for the week's over, sir. Hope that answers your question.
And this question asked, what in a conveyor at the moment? Do you know how many kilowatt hours it's actually using to run the system, or is this being used natural gas? How's it being powered at the moment?
It's through a plug-in, 110 kilovolts kV plug-in that we do. So it's just like plugging in a standard appliance almost, and we're not using very much power at this point because mainly what we're testing it is on the gravity model. So you can imagine we're not using as much power as we need to. As if we're in a linear area, which is something we would want to obviously study if we're able to get a prototype up on an island somewhere.
Yeah, so it is, I think you did mention that it is applicable to be used with solar panels or photovoltaic cells.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions out there?
And to everyone watching, I apologize. I'm not the CTO, so for the hyper technical questions, I will refer off to them. And then also the fact that I'm over here in the States, so I can't monitor the system up close, unfortunately, because it's over there in Gothenburg, Sweden. But I will get you any answers you're looking for. You will have.
This comment is that you must have been heartbroken when the YA project was put back for a year. Have you any idea when that will be up and running?
So we have been speaking with Vaterham about the project, even possibly separate from the YA project. Although I don't want to tell anyone, give anyone the impression that it's absolutely going to happen with or without them. But the government, they have a finite amount of money because the YA project, of course, the government was going to be one of the funders for it. And this year they kind of had a more, I guess you could say, shotgun approach where funds get kind of dispersed in smaller groups to a lot of projects. The interest is still there, which is what we're very happy about. And it's definitely a kick in the chest that we're going to have to wait for the one where we're working with the government. But at the same time, we've got a lot of interest with Vaterham, builders in Sweden, and then also overseas because, again, you go places like India and Bangladesh and Pakistan, and, the water crisis is there. It's at their doorstep. It's not something you're talking about on CNN for them. You have private water tankers coming in and gouging people in prices, and that's awful. No one should have to go through that. So what we're doing is we're reaching out even more so, and we made some really great connections with water experts and people that are just like us, that think just like the people watching yourself, Jindra. So we're really hoping to form some partnerships similar out there in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I keep going back to South Asia because that's where the problem is the worst, I believe, to help solve this crisis.
Well, it certainly fits our criteria of things that we need to advocate for. And you've probably noticed our branding says that water is water, not waste. And the days of using water to flush filth or using water and basically disposing of it, it never really does get disposed of. It gets dispersed. It gets recycled and reused. And we always had this idea of if we'd never invented the flush toilet, where would we be as far as water consumption? But that raises a whole host of other implications, so we won't go there today.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like people to know, whatever, if they have any questions on the technical side or not technical side, if I don't have that answer, reach out to me and I'll introduce them to our CEO and our CTO, and we'll definitely make sure they feel good about whatever it is. Because if it's a technical concern that someone has, it's, again, our system, our results, as you can see on the screen here, are coming back really great. And, I think this is more of a, I don't want to say cultural, but I guess the world does. I mean, like you said, Dindra, the world's used to flushing water down in a certain way, and gray water is waste to the world. Just a lot of the world looks at gray water as it's the exact same waste as toilet water, and it's not. Yeah. So, we're here to try to change the paradigm and show that there's a better way where we can avert some water-based crises. So.
Yeah. I was thinking about closing this recording out with a clip of Matt Damon cruising around his Martian room using his own byproducts, but we thought that would probably contravene copyright. So
don't want to get sued by Matt Damon. Yeah.
No. But anyway, thank you, Luke. Any other comments? Anything else? I see. Let me have a look here. Okay, there was a comment that came in. Have you thought about a simpler technology which could be used in rural areas in the world where pipe systems and electricity are limited?
Yes, actually. So that actually, thank you for that question, because that's going to allow us to hark more in our conventional system. So we do have, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll go deeper into detail on that, NSF 350 styled conventional systems, which redirect gray water from bathrooms, same places, bathroom sinks, showers, and tubs. They will redirect it for irrigation, for gardening, for toilet flushing, and for storage even. So we are very close to getting those systems done. We're looking at December, possibly even this month, as having those completed for sale. And we'll be selling those domestically here in the U.S. As well as anywhere in the world. And we think those systems in the short term are where we would look for to sell into rural areas, because our system right now, due to how much it could cost, it wouldn't work for one home. Right. So in rural areas, obviously, you don't have people stacked on each other as much as you would see in urban areas. So, with that, I think as our research and development continues, and we're actually, right now, not just working with Chalmers in University of Technology in Sweden, we're also working with the University of Arizona here in Arizona, United States, and also making some inroads into working with the people out in a university in the Bangalore area of India. With that, as R&D continues, we want to create a version that is more compact and more, I guess you'd say linear, for lack of a better term, for places out in rural areas, because we do realize that as much as everyone makes a fuss about urbanization, and the world is urbanized, we can't get away from it, there are still billions, with a B, of folks living out in the rural areas. So it's not something that's out of our mind at all. It's just our solution, our Blue Circle system solution right now happens to maximize value at scale. So that's really kind of why we've been targeting urban areas more. But to answer your question in the short, in the near future, we plan to have something very similar beyond just conventional systems for rural areas. And I hope that's a good answer for you. Sorry.
Yep. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in, so we're going to end the recording for the day here. Thank you again, Luke.
Thank you.
This is, I'm wondering if we will look back on this in 10, 15 years and go, why did it take so long to get to this point?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I hope not. I hope maybe in 1 or 2 years is the hope, but you never know. You just keep working for it.
yeah. I do see someone has logged in right at the end of this presentation.
Oh, okay.
Very sorry about that, but you will be getting an email with a link to the recording, probably within an hour of the close of this today. Thank you again, Luke. We are going to close the recording down, but for the person who logged in late, if they would hang on 1 second, we're happy to stick around and answer questions. So
Sure.
again, thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.